Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds. Hey everyone.
Hey, my name's, what's my name? David Bell.
I'm Tom Ryman.
We just watched Equalizer 2.
The Equalizer.
The Equalizer
Part
2.
2.
Equalizer.
Yep.
It's great you're helping all these random people stay off the radar.
They killed my friend. So I'm going to kill each and every one of you. The only disappointment is that I only get to do it once.
He really equalizes some fools in this movie.
He really does. He equalizes a lot of people.
A lot of people. This...
I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, I liked it fine. It's Antoine Fuqua, who is, I was remarking to Dave as we left the theater, it's like the only director Denzel will work with anymore, apparently.
Right, besides
himself.
Denzel.
Right,
yeah.
besides Denzel. Like, I feel like the last several Denzel movies were all directed by Antoine Fuqua. That could be wrong, but...
And I mean, he's good, and I really enjoy watching Denzel in these movies.
I love watching Denzel just equalize people.
They definitely film him like the villain in a lot of sequences.
The end sequence, it was the same thing in the first movie, but yeah, the end sequence, which is a hurricane ravaged, it's like a coastal town on, I guess, Massachusetts. That's in the middle of a hurricane, and it is straight up a Jason segment.
Yeah. Yeah, it's from the bad guy's perspective as they're getting picked off one by one, which again was like the first one where they're in the Home Depot
hardware store,
or the hardware
it's the same
store,
thing.
and that one reminded me of the Predator because it was like using traps, like terrifying traps on them.
Mm-hmm.
This movie I feel like had more going on than the first one.
This is a busy film.
Yes, there is there's how many plot lines? There's the painter, the painter kid.
There's the painting kid. There's the lady with her garden. There's the old man trying to find the painting of his sister. There's the storyline with Melissa Leo and her husband Bill Pullman and his new book. And then there's the main storyline of the bad guys who are murdering people.
Right.
And then Denzel's on their trail.
Even like the side, and this is more of a character thing of Denzel, like going back to his house.
One more thing. And then 6, throughout the film, there's a hurricane coming.
Yes. There's also the woman who gets assaulted by those Chads.
Yes.
That's more like a side. That's like a
one-off. There's a lot of side quests in this movie.
Yes, there are. I mean, that was like the first Equalizer where like he would see some sort of injustice and just be like, I have to kill those people. Hold on. And he would just like go off and go kill
beat
those
him to
people.
death with a hammer and then put the hammer back on the shelf.
Yeah.
And that way, I mean, it is based on a television show. So in a way, it captures the same feeling because there's some episodic feeling storylines in the film, and then there's the main storyline.
Right.
Sorry. Continue.
Oh my God. Well, that was done. Yeah, it's kind of exhausting. My biggest takeaway of this movie is that Bill Pullman, I'm so baffled by Bill Pullman in both this movie and the first one.
Yeah.
Because the first one, it was this moment of like, is that Bill Pullman? And he's there for one scene and then that's it.
Yeah.
And this movie feels like it has negged Bill Pullman into not realizing he's famous still. Because like Bill Pullman in this is treated like he's not Bill Pullman, like he's not a famous actor.
Yeah.
And in I don't know why that's happening. Is it a favor he's doing? Because
I don't know.
In this movie, like I remarked in the theater, like his first 3 scenes, it's like he has somewhere to be. Like he comes into the shot and he's just like, "Hey, how's it going?" and says a few lines and then just leaves.
Leaves the shot.
Yeah, and it's like, where is he going? What does he have to do?
He said he's too busy to be in the film.
Yeah, and throughout the film, even when he gets a little more involved, it still feels like they shot him like maybe a day's worth of
Bill Pullman.
You
get one day.
They do like
Pullman.
a cutaway to him grieving real quick, and like
yeah.
It's just a very weird use of Bill Pullman.
It is.
Like, does he? I don't know why he's in these.
Just the part he got.
Yeah.
The film opens in the first movie. Denzel was working at like a Home Depot-esque place.
Right. Was he in? He was in Boston in that one as well.
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it was Boston.
But this film opens where he's working as a Lyft driver, no longer at the Home Depot.
Terrific product placement for Lyft.
Could have been a lot of reasons why he's no longer employed at that Home Depot.
Yes. Oh, I imagine he was fired immediately, right? Because at the end of the first one, like all his coworkers find out that he's
the equalizer.
Yeah, and so I can see his manager being like, "You saved my life, thanks, but I can't have you work here anymore."
So like, the police were here, because you just killed a bunch of terrorists, and they found like several pieces of tools and gardening equipment that have like skull fragment residue on them.
Have you been equalizing people?
And then putting the tools back on the shelf?
But this must have been a very tricky product placement for Lyft, because it was definitely product placement for Lyft. It felt like, right? He's a Lyft driver.
Yeah, and then the
hilarious.
Lyft sticker is featured very prominently, and so is the app.
And the guy pays him and goes, "Thanks for the lift." And that was fine, but like I wonder what the negotiations were like, because they must have sat down with Lyft and been like, "Okay, well, he's gonna kill some of his customers."
Yeah, only the bad guys.
Yeah, we're gonna make them very bad, because technically he's a bad Lyft driver because he murders, or at least beats, a lot of his customers up.
Yeah, he doesn't straight up murder any of his customers. He just beats up those chads.
Yeah.
Remember when there's a scene where he goes, he's picking up some of his fares, and he gets like one that doesn't have a profile or anything. It's like unknown, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll take that." It's a chance to meet new people. You never know who needs somebody to be equalized.
Yeah, that's true.
So he goes to pick this person up, and it's this very fancy apartment building or office. It might have been an office building. It was hard to say. And this Chad in a suit dumps this lady who is like obviously drugged, weeping, and like her clothes are all torn.
Right.
Just dumps her in the lift, and he's like, "Yeah, take her.
Make sure she gets back
to her place." And Denzel's like, "I smell a rat."
Yeah.
And he comes back there and equalizes all of them.
Okay, I want to break it down a little more, because he goes in, and the guy, the Chad, gives him like this really fancy credit card. Prime. Yeah, and he's just like, "Oh, never seen one of these before."
It's a black card. Yeah,
it's a black card, right? And then he uses that to slash at him later.
He does. He slashes his face with his own black credit card, his Onyx credit card.
Yeah, and so technically she was in the lift, but technically he's the customer because he was paying, I guess.
Yeah, or the one guy.
I don't know why. Like, I just think it's interesting that Lyft was like, "Yeah, no, we'll do this. This is fine." Well, and they should, because they make the guys so terrible, such villains, that it's like it works. They're trying to be like the anti-Uber, where they're like, "Our Lyft drivers will attack you if you assault people."
Right, and I mean, you have to be really out of control in the movie for a company to say no, I think, because otherwise it's just, "Oh, you're gonna continuously show them our Lyft logo." Cool,
yeah. Yeah, it probably doesn't matter. They probably done studies that they found it doesn't matter if it's the villain or the hero.
Well, you'll think about it, it's like, no, I'm gonna ride Lyft because Denzel drove Lyft.
Right. It was just it still felt bold because they put Lyft into it, where he beats up the Chads and then he's like, "I want 5 stars.
I want 5 stars," and then he gets 5 stars.
Yeah.
There was one of the Chads, like, he would not stop breaking his arm.
Yes.
Like, he caught one of these Chads, tries to punch him, so he catches his arm and breaks it, and then breaks it again, and then continues to break it. I think he does it 3 times.
He needed to equalize
he
it.
He just kept breaking his arm.
Enough. Yeah.
It was great.
It was great.
All the equalizing scenes are great.
Oh yeah, the opening too when he's on the
on a train in Turkey. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that was very good. The action, like, it's not John Wick action where it's like, it's clearly not Denzel doing this stuff because Denzel doesn't. No, but it doesn't really matter because the brutality is so over the top.
Right. It's focused. The action's clean enough and visible enough that it's focused on what he's doing rather than who's doing it. So
and there's just something silly about the character. There's a lot of moments in this movie where he's not equalizing things.
No, he's just helping the community, which is part of it.
Yeah, which is part of it. It's an action movie, but they like. I feel like it's not like balls to the wall. It's not nonstop fucking action.
And I feel like if he was just murdering people or like brutalizing people, you probably still wouldn't really be on his side.
Yeah,
like he's got to kind of help people,
and he's got to like be kind of a personality. Like it's fun seeing him interact with people that he's not murdering.
Right, it is.
Like my favorite moment, and I want a whole movie of this, is when because like showing him driving around a lift, and they show him like interacting with various people that he doesn't murder. It has nothing to do with the plot.
Yeah,
it's just showing. I don't know. It's there's something about the idea of like this is a man who murders people. And now let's watch him drive kids around. And that's my favorite moment, which is grumpy Denzel driving like,
all these kids home
all
from
these
school.
kids to school. Yeah, I want a whole movie that's just Denzel driving kids around.
Right, you want Carpool with Denzel.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of Tom Arnold and David Paymer.
Exactly.
That's the film we want to see.
That would have been great.
There's a storyline with an old man who's looking for... He lost he and his sister got separated in World War II and he never found her again, but he's been trying to get this painting of her that was stolen from his home, when the Nazis took everything, and he keeps having to go back to court, and then we see like he finally has this photograph of his old house that you can see the painting, and he's like, this is going to get me the painting.
This is a plot line in The Equalizer.
This is a plot line in The Equalizer too.
It's just an old man trying to get a painting. Because
it sold at auction for like millions of dollars, so the people aren't willing to just give it up. And there's a scene where he's meeting Denzel. They're both sitting out on a bench looking out the water, and he shows Denzel this photograph. He's like, finally, this is the proof that that's gonna get me this painting back. And then a nurse and like the hospital director come up and they're like, it's time to go back inside and take your medicine, Sam. And then the nurse leads old Sammy back, and Denzel's sitting there watching him, and the hospital director stays behind him and just kind of says, it's he's just obsessed with that old painting. I guess you need something when you get to that age, like something to just keep you focused.
Right.
But I can't remember I wish I could remember the exact line because it made me fucking laugh out loud. Because he just sits there and is talking about how, this old man's going to die soon, but trying to get this painting, I mean, he's never going to get it, but it gives him something to focus on.
It was definitely like this moment of weird exposition, and the guy was like, well,
and then
see ya.
When he's done, he just kind of smiles this weird smile and walks out of frame.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Denzel they never make eye contact because he's standing behind him. So just delivering us this weird piece of exposition.
There were a lot of little moments that made me laugh that I wish I could recount more and more. The one that that was like a straight up horror villain. Is at the end when one of the bad guys is going through an alleyway in the storm
ravaged town.
Yeah, it's storm ravaged town, and there's fucking pictures of the woman they killed. Just plastered on the side, and it's like, what did he do?
When did he have time to do this?
Those out.
He gets there minutes before they do.
He printed those out in advance.
Yeah.
Brought a staple gun and was like ready to go.
Just hung them all
because he knew that at some point, no matter where he was, what was going to happen, he was going to do that.
Right. They were going to walk down, and they were going to walk into his house of mirrors. But it was like, because the bad guys, the main plot of the movie is that Melissa Leo gets killed by these bad guys who are trying to cover their tracks. So what he's done is he's printed out these enormous pictures of Melissa Leo and hung them up all over this alleyway. So like it looks like she was like running for city council in this town because there's
So
just
fucking
posters of her everywhere.
It's like a haunting. It's insane.
Yeah.
There's
It's
also
great.
the little moment before that where the bad guys are driving into town and the main bad guy who knows Denzel like from
He's his old
past
partner.
life,
He's his old
essentially.
partner, yeah.
Yeah, and he turns and just goes, "That's his wife's bakery." Like,
Well, what happens is they're driving, and then he looks at it. He's like, "Slow down,"
Slow down.
and he slows down. It's like, "That's his wife's old bakery." All right, keep going.
yeah, and it was
Like-
was the henchman like, is he giving us a tour?
Are we sightseeing? Like, are you giving us the Equalizer tour?
Take her right here.
There's his childhood home.
Yeah.
Like it was just to tell us, the audience, that that's what that building is, and that's why when Denzel leads the bad guys there later, that's why he's doing it, and that's why he knows where everything is in this bakery. But it was just such a weird, like, he has him slow down. It's like, that's his wife's bakery. All right, let's go.
It's so good. So silly.
Oh my god.
Oh god. What a silly fucking
great
movie. Yeah. So good.
Yeah, it's I'll say it has the same. I don't know, because I wasn't ever checking my watch. It is long, and the first Equalizer was long.
How long
too.
was it? Yeah, I
I
didn't.
think it was like
notice
2 hours and 20 minutes almost.
Wow.
Like it's over 2 hours.
I
The
didn't
first
notice.
one was long too.
Yeah.
Because there's so fucking much happening.
Yeah.
In these movies.
So much plot. We haven't even talked about the painter.
Oh yeah, the kid.
Yeah, I really like this because movies, action movies especially, and they'll often be like, okay, we need the bad guys to have some leverage, and so they say, okay, write a female character. Let's go back and write her in, and like make it somewhat romantic, and then she gets kidnapped.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's always like it's usually just a romantic interest, like a lady.
Yeah.
And so they did at least a different thing here where they made it like a kid that he's like mentoring, like a kid in like his 20s, early 20s probably, going to college.
Yeah.
Who's like playing with the idea of art school, and who Denzel is paying to paint over graffiti in his garden. And so I thought that was a nice change of pace, I guess.
Yeah, it would have been
one more insane.
It was an additional plot line that we get to go, which is great because the kid runs off to this. He gets taken off to basically the towers from The Wire.
Yeah, it's a generic gang.
Yeah.
Like, did you notice that when they were spray painting graffiti,
it just said gang.
It just said gang.
It just said gang.
Yeah, the art director was just like, gang.
Put some gang graffiti up there. Got it.
That was and so this was again a generic gang.
Yeah. Trying to get him to sell drugs and
Denzel
and murder some part of the people that killed his brother or whatever.
And Denzel just gets really intense on him.
It's great.
Yeah, because he goes up and gets him.
He equalizes his way right in there.
Yeah. He doesn't equalize too hard.
He beats the shit out of a few people.
Oh yeah, he does, doesn't he? The people at the door. Then when he goes in, he just points guns at everybody. He's like, "Let's go, let's go."
Yeah.
And then he does this really intense thing downstairs where he's like, "Okay, shoot me. You want to shoot me? Fucking shoot me!" And like puts a gun to his own head, and the guy's like, "What the fuck?" And then he starts like.
Then he takes the gun from him and
knocks him and puts the gun on him. Like, I'm gonna fucking shoot you. And it's just like, what the fuck, Denzel?
And then he gets right in his face, like, "You don't know what death is."
Yeah,
like, he's screaming in his face. You
good.
don't know what death is, even though we know that like this guy's brother was shot.
Yeah.
To death for no reason.
No, Denzel, his superpower
like he has
is that
an
he's
idea
a
of what death is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a lunatic.
Yeah, it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
We've brought this up a few times, and so I almost want to stop saying this. It reminded me of a 90s action movie.
It's a 90s action thriller.
Yes,
it's
it is.
Very 90s.
But I'm starting to think like we shouldn't say that as much because we have to accept that they're just making those now again. Like that's
sometimes.
I mean, I'm seeing it more and more, and it makes me very happy. Like it's
I like this style of movie where it's just there's action in it, but it's so much plot, and it's like so much like the Blown Aways and like the Patriot games, where it's like there's action and double crosses, and
what's making it kind of work, because there used to be days where like, you know, when like Denzel was making movies in the 90s, or I guess Denzel's not the best example. I guess like Schwarzenegger,
Yeah.
or like maybe Wesley Snipes, or they would always be different characters, but it was basically the same movie. It was a 90s action / thriller starring that actor.
Yeah.
Like you were going to, so like I'm totally fine with them making 10 Equalizer films.
Yeah.
Doing this with just little stories, because it's like it's pretty much the same thing they did in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the same with John Wick. Although John Wick's like a progressing plot now.
Yeah.
So
it keeps getting blown out.
yeah, so I feel like they're doing their own thing.
Yeah.
But this one, it felt like this could be the last one, or this could be one of 10.
they could do more if they want to or not.
Yeah.
It ends in a way that's like, okay.
Yeah. I want to say maybe don't do more, because I get this feeling that they're just not gonna, like, that it requires having this director and this actor and everything,
I suspect Denzel wouldn't do a third one unless Antoine Fuqua was doing it.
And if Fuqua, if he doesn't do it and Denzel does, like, I feel like they shouldn't push their luck.
No.
These are fun movies. We don't need a million of them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jesus. What other plots? We haven't talked about the bad guy, who I didn't
the bad guy
care about.
Is insane.
That was sorry. Yeah, what is their plan?
Okay, this is their plan. Okay, so the bad guy turns out to be Denzel's old partner and the person who was working with Melissa Leo. So it's somebody who you think is a good guy, and then you realize, oh no, he's the bad guy the whole time.
So it was one of those, and this is probably just watching so many movies, is that when he was first in the elevator with her, it was like, okay, it's like her partner or whatever. And then the moment Denzel comes back to him, I was like, oh, he's the bad guy. Because it's that rule of like, okay, we're halfway through the movie. What characters are here that don't need to be here? Okay, that guy. So clearly he's going to be the bad guy.
We haven't met any new characters. So what it is the movie opens with this guy and his wife getting murdered in their home, and it's made to look like a suicide. And then we realize, oh, that guy was a deep cover State Department asset, like a witness.
Right.
And so Melissa Leo's on the case because she still kind of works for the government. And she's starting to kind of solve the case, so then she gets killed.
Right.
And then later on we find out that whatever the hell his name was.
Well, she gets killed.
Dave, was that his name?
I want to say Dave, but
Dave was his name, right? Okay.
I don't know.
So it turns out that he was a former Equalizer, and he and like 3 of the other former Equalizers are now just contract killers. And they murdered the guy and his wife in the beginning just as a contract. They had no idea he was like a State Department asset. So now they killed Melissa Leo, and they're gonna kill Denzel because they're just trying to keep anyone from finding out that they did it.
Right, which it's just such a sloppy technique. Like they don't just kill her; they kill her, and then the guys they paid to kill her, they blow them up.
Right, but they make it look like because they make
it look like a gas leak.
Right, they pay these 2 tweakers in Brussels to go into her hotel room and rob her, but they don't actually kill her. We find out. We find out later. The reveal is that Dave comes in and stabs her after she's been beaten and robbed.
It's one of those of like, well, why do any of that?
To make it look like she wasn't assassinated. To make it look like she was killed in a random crime.
I guess so.
And then they blow the 2 tweakers up, which, I mean, we see that they're in just like a fucking trap house, basically, that explodes. So it's like, okay, that could have just been them cooking, and then it blows up.
Why did they killed her because she was beginning to solve the case?
Apparently.
But like, was that going to implicate them? Like,
I assume
like, what kind of fucking killers are these? They're very bad at what they do.
They're very bad, yeah.
Like, if you assassinate someone in his house, you'd think you would have like worn gloves and not, I don't know, or like. It's just like, it's that scene you were talking about
in the
when
theater where
they're
kill
breaking
Bill
into
Pullman.
the house. Yeah, and they're just so loud.
They're banging on the door. They're trying
Yeah.
to force the door open. I was like, these are the loudest equalizers.
Yeah, how
ever.
did they become equalizers?
I don't know, man. Clearly,
They can't equalize shit.
Denzel was the top dog, and now these are all the scrubs.
Yeah. I don't understand. So, what was his job? Because I thought he was just in the military.
He was like a wet works guy.
All right. It was probably explained in the first one more.
Probably.
I almost feel like
he
I
was an
should have
assassin.
watched.
He was a government assassin,
Yeah.
basically.
Right. And then his wife died.
I don't remember.
I think it was that. His wife died, and then he just read books.
Yeah.
And then there was
I think the implication
prostitute in the first one that he is like, I gotta
equalize
save this
this.
prostitute, equalize these guys.
I think the implication is, there's a subplot about him reading 100 books.
There is.
I think the implication is
So
that
many
it's a
layers.
Yeah, I think it's a list his wife gave him, maybe.
Something.
Because there's the implication when he goes to his house at the end that she was reading the same book that he's now on.
Okay. And then he gives that kid, the painter kid, a book.
One of the books from his list, yeah.
I want to say the first one. I want to say
It's the book we see him
training
reading
him
on
to
the train.
equalize. Oh, okay, yeah.
Between the World and Me.
And then, at the end, the kid's drawing the superhero that's clearly Denzel.
Yeah.
There's a whole mythology here. There's just
There is.
so many
There's
layers.
a lot going. They're like partway through the film. I leaned over to her. I was like, there is a lot happening in this movie.
There really is. And somehow it all wraps up.
Yeah.
Like, somehow it's not a bad story. Like,
No,
in
it's
terms
fine.
Of, in terms of everything wraps up and connects and
Yeah.
works out.
None of it was
Denzel has his arc. He goes back to his
he goes back home and
New England home.
accepts his wife's death.
Yeah. Stack some neatly stacked apples.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the last thing we see in the movie, which was
Yeah.
weird. I remember he had sort of a like obsessive compulsive disorder in the first one, right?
I think so.
I still don't remember why he times his equalizings,
He just does.
his murders.
I think he just does. It's like for his heart rate or something. I don't know.
I don't know
we
either,
still
because
see some of that.
Is he trying to beat his record? Because it doesn't seem like he's trying to go fast. It's like he's just trying to know.
Yeah, he's doing a time trial against himself.
Right.
Like, when you would race against ghosts
Yeah,
in Mario Kart,
but
that's what he's doing.
Here's the thing: is they never show him looking at his watch after. He'll sometimes like beep, shut it off, but he doesn't look to check his time or anything.
Yeah.
I just don't. Again, I'm sure the first one explained that. I just don't remember what it was. I need to watch the first one.
Yeah, I should have watched it again. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I think we do still see some of that. Like in the beginning when he's getting his tea, he unfolds he has this tea bag folded in a napkin, and he unfolds it in a specific way and turns it, and then he has to tap his spoon on the side of his cup a couple of times, like an exact number of times. He swats at the kid for trying to touch his food when he's cooking it, trying to touch the pot. So there's a little bit of that.
Yeah, he's super intense.
He's
with
the most intense.
Yeah.
But that's just Denzel.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he would be crazy intimidating in real life.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what was maybe an improv and what wasn't.
Yeah.
Like the whole deal with the gun part. Like,
yeah.
I can see Denzel just.
See, up there, they're lying. I'm a liar too. Now I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Like he's
oh my
pointing
God.
a gun at his...
That was so fucking intense. Oh, man.
Oh, gosh. Denzel.
Yeah. Oh, God. He needs to keep making action films. I really enjoy him.
Yeah. I think he'll.
Or not even action, like thrillers. Like
this.
Like Fallen, Out of
like
Sight,
Fallen.
I think it was called.
Out of Time.
Out of Time.
Out of
Sight's the one with J-Lo,
That's
right?
the Soderbergh one.
Yeah.
With George Clooney.
Out of Time's the one he's like in Hawaii and he's covering up. That's a stressful movie. I want to watch that movie. Sorry. And Nick of Time. Remember Nick of Time?
I do remember Nick of Time.
Yeah. Very stressful movie.
The thriller unfolds in real time.
Yeah.
Charles S. Dutton has a fake leg in it.
Who does?
Charles S. Dutton.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean those movies did come to mind when I watched this one. Like the ending when he's like got the sniper rifle, the bad guy, and he's like circling that thing, and he gets Culkined. He gets Culkined from
he gets super Culkined from the Good Son.
From Good Son.
Yeah.
He kills him like 4 times.
He does.
He stabs him a bunch, and then he's like on his hands and knees, and he stabs him in the back of the neck, and it's just like, okay, that did it. And then he throws him. He Culkins
Well, first he gouges his eye.
Right.
He does the coup de grace stab that he used to kill Melissa Leo, the stab between the ribs.
Right. Yeah.
Then he stabs him in the back of the neck and works the knife around.
Yes.
Like saws his spinal cord.
Yeah.
And then pushes him off a
That
lighthouse.
was fucking. That's
So he
again.
smashes
He's like
on
Jason
the rocks
Voorhees.
below. Yeah.
This really, and that's all of his kills is that he doesn't kill you once. He kills you like 3 times.
Yeah. Except for the guy he shoots through the face with a harpoon. That guy was just dead.
I forgot he did that.
Yeah.
Holy
a harpoon
shit.
like as thick as my forearm.
Yes, which again, Jason
Through
Voorhees.
the guy's face.
Yeah.
And staples him to the wall.
Yep.
It's excellent. Here's one that I don't understand. He uses flour to cause the bad guy's flash grenade to blow back against him and kill him.
Well, because flour, like, if you ever blow flour into fire, it ignites.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Flour is quite flammable.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I was trying to figure out what he was doing because that felt like a very, like, odd move because it was weird that he knew that was the sequence of events. Like, he cuts all the flour.
Yeah.
And it was like, where's he going with this? And he
Turns
moves all
on
these
2
fans.
so it's just
and at that point, I was like,
saturating
is he just trying to make it look spooky in there?
Yeah,
Like, is
or
he
like-
just trying
well,
to be
that's what
more of a horror villain?
Yeah, he's trying to be spooky. For like logically, I was like, oh, I guess he's trying to make it like harder to see.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then the bad guy throws the grenade, and it was like, oh shit!
Yeah.
And he just blows up his wife's bakery.
He sure does.
Yeah, that's the
Fuck
idea.
my
Is
dead
the flour,
wife!
the flour like blows back. I still don't know why he would have known that all of that would have happened.
Well, he knows that that's how those guys clear rooms. They set that up.
Oh, you're right.
Remember, every time as they're going through, like Dave the villain says, make an entry. And that means they kick open the door and they throw in a flashbang. We see him do it 2 or 3 times before that.
Okay,
and since they were all on the same team together, Denzel knows that that's how they're going to enter every building.
So he knew to thwart them with flour.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's still, it definitely, it's hard to tell what's he's doing on the fly and what he's planned ahead. Because he probably didn't know that flour was going to be there in that bakery when he walked in, but he saw the flour and he was like, oh shit, this is going to be fucking great.
Fucking
and then he opened it and then he like turned on the fans. There could have been no power. Like he could have turned on the fans and been like,
that's true.
Well,
it is the middle of a hurricane.
Like, yeah, he's just seeing what he can do. But then he printed those pictures out in advance
and stapled them.
Yeah,
all
so he
along
knew he was
these
going to do
buildings.
something with those pictures. Yeah, he's an artist, but he's sort of an improv artist. It's like jazz.
It's very jazz.
Yeah,
He's flying on the seat of his pants.
But yeah, he knew like he was going to stab that guy the same way his friend was stabbed.
But like then do some more.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, we remember the line where he said that he smelled her piss.
yes.
That felt like a Denzel improv. I couldn't tell. That was a weird fucking moment in this movie. She gets out of the bathroom and he says like,
well, before she gets out, he says, "Hey,
her
Susan,"
name.
and she's like, "How'd you know it was me? I was just using the bathroom." And he's like, "Yeah, but you ate that asparagus vinaigrette."
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I smelled your perfume.
right. It was really weird because
A little bit of a weird moment.
it was a weird moment.
A little bit of a weird moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, she breaks into his house to feed him soup from a Tupperware container.
Right. That felt like a very like
no, maybe Denzel did. That seems like maybe he did because then she makes the remark about you were supposed to pay for dinner.
Oh yeah. I don't know. That it feels like equalizers just break into each other's houses all the time.
Yeah, it's just like a fun goof.
Yeah.
They play on each other.
They just like almost kill. There's a lot of action movies like that where people almost kill friends.
Yeah.
There's got to be a time where it accidentally.
Yeah, somebody's
happens.
head's been canoed before.
Yeah, because there's other times in every action movie
Some
where people
good
will
friend.
immediately shoot a bad guy, and and it could have very well been a friend.
Right. Or like, the FedEx driver. You
Right.
don't know. You don't know.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Denzel's accidentally killed FedEx drivers.
That's why why the lady's garden got messed up. Is Denzel had to hastily bury some bike messenger.
I was thinking that he then takes him into his car and lights his car on fire.
Lights his car on fire. Yep.
We haven't talked about that part.
No, we haven't.
The guy takes the lift. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, how do you, if you're gonna kill a specific guy, how do you know to take their lift? That's not how Lyft works. You can't request drivers, can you?
I don't think you could request drivers, but they'll show you who's nearby and you can pick somebody. So he could have just kept doing it until he saw Denzel come up.
Yeah, he could have been following him.
Yep.
Yeah, and the guy takes out the knife and...
Yeah, a guy takes Denzel's lift and it then turns out to be an assassin and tries to kill him.
And Denzel beats him up with the inside of his car.
He just
whips his car around.
The guy keeps trying to lean up and stab him. He's elbowing the fuck out of this guy every single time. He's taking wild turns. Yeah, just throwing him against the doors and shit. And then he takes the guy's gun from him and shoots him in the head 3 times.
Yeah, he sure does. He equalizes him.
He equalizes his shit out of him.
And then he equalizes his car.
And then he equalizes his lift car.
That's how he finds out the guy's the bad guy. He steals his phone. And then he hacks his phone using just hacking, generic hacking, movie hacking. Which was fine.
Well, he doesn't actually hack it. He tries to open it and then recognizes the style of encryption.
Okay.
Because he brings the phone to Evil Dave and it's like, Evil Dave, this is military level encryption. You should probably take. But even though at that point, of course Evil Dave's the bad guy because everybody else thinks he's dead.
Right.
And he reveals himself to Evil Dave and then all of a sudden there's an assassin coming after him. So it's like, well, of course you're the bad guy.
Yeah. I liked that scene where he goes to his house and he has the kids and the wife. And when the part where he calls him out and the wife and the kids are getting ready for school.
Yeah.
And then he just walks outside and all the henchmen are there and they're just hanging out in this cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
And I was like, are they going to fight right now? Is this the end of the movie? Are we going to see an action sequence in this neighborhood?
That would have been cool. What a cul-de-sac.
And then Denzel gets a ride with his wife.
Yeah.
It is wonderful about it.
Well, that's because they're all his old team members, so they all know him. They see him walk up, they're like, "Hey, Mac, yeah, you look pretty good for a dead guy." And then they have a bit of a conversation, and he tells him, he's like, sometimes bad things happen, and people do bad things, and sometimes they get a chance to make it right, and other times nothing happens, and they just go unpunished. Well, this isn't that second time. So I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. The way he said it made me laugh. He goes, I'll tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to kill every single one of you. And the only thing I'm going to feel bad about is that I can only do it once.
Yes. It's so good.
He just says it so matter-of-factly. He's like, okay, here's what's going to happen.
And then
I'm going to kill all of you. Yeah. Yeah, and then he gets a ride with Evil Dave's wife, and he's just like, can you take me to the station?
And he's just so charming and nice.
Yeah.
He's so fucking good.
Picks up the little girl.
Yeah.
It's carrying
so
her in the
fucking
minivan
good.
with a huge smile on his face.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. I like that. He before he equalizes people, he either gives them a chance or he doesn't. I noticed. I like how
depends.
At the beginning of each one, he would be like, okay, well, you have a chance to make the, or some days he'd be like, now, normally I give people a chance to make this right, but not this time.
He didn't do that. He does it once.
He only does it once?
In the beginning of the train car in Turkey, when he kills that guy's 2 bodyguards, then he says, okay, there are 2 kinds of pain, the kind that hurt and the kind that alter you. Which one do you want?
That was great.
And then later on with the Chads, he's like, normally I give people a choice, but no, I'm going to continuously break this Chad's arm.
I'm just gonna mangle all of you.
Yeah, and then later with Evil Dave and the old crew, he just tells them, "I'm just gonna kill all of you.
Yeah,
you killed my friend, so I'm gonna kill all of you."
Well, there are levels of equalizing.
That's true.
That's what I'm seeing here. Is that there's, the 3 levels right there. We see them. There is I'm on a mission to rescue, because the first guy is he kidnapped his ex-wife's daughter, which I assume is also his daughter.
Yeah.
And brought her to, where are they? Turkey?
Well, they're on a train to Turkey. But
retrieving this
little girl,
the little girl, and you're not sure why, and then you see that she works at the bookstore. Her mom works at the bookstore he goes to. So there's that level of equalizing where it's like a little project, where it's like, this is someone I know.
Yeah.
This is someone personally close to me. This is someone I know, and I have to do a lot to get to this
Yeah.
to equalize.
It's a real expenditure.
Then
to
there's
equalize.
the sudden, unplanned equalizing. There are like moments of passion.
The real jazz equalizer.
Yeah, and those I think are the moments he doesn't give people a chance because he hasn't thought about it much. He's just like, look, I'm just angry. I'm going to kill.
Well, I
or beat all of you up.
imagine had the Chads, let's say, stolen someone's purse and not horribly assaulted a person.
Exactly.
He might have given
It's also
them the chance.
level of
like,
the crime.
like he recognizes the degree of crime and what level of equalizing is
He also
appropriate.
understands, like, he didn't kill the Chads. He just makes them so hurt, and he makes sure the authorities get involved.
Yes.
So again, he knows just the right amount of equalizing.
Right. How
per
much
situation.
equalizing to engage in.
Yeah, and then when it's personal, when it's just like you killed a friend of mine, I wouldn't even call that equalizing. Like, he's not equalizing shit. He's just, I'm gonna fucking
Well, sort of in
revenge.
terms of his friend is dead, so he is going to make all of them dead, and it will be equalized.
That's true. Yeah, I guess it's just that's like I don't think that's he's off the clock at that point.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know.
He doesn't use his stopwatch in that hurricane sequence
No, he doesn't.
because he understands this is going to take some. This is just for me.
Yeah.
This is me time equalizing.
Equalizer. Do you think this movie's going to do any good?
Probably. It'll probably do fine.
Yeah, I haven't looked at Rotten Tomatoes. I saw a few reviews that were saying like that, like seemed to indicate that they thought it was boring or something.
I don't know.
Denzel
himself, just on his name, gets
also just
a decent turnout.
Yeah, just on him. He's like he might be the most charming actor working right now. Like I mean in the sense of when he plays characters, he always has moments where he's just fucking charming.
Yeah.
And he's so good at being charming.
Yeah, no, he's
and there's something so charismatic about him.
Yeah, definitely.
That he's just it's really fun to watch him in movies.
Right, even if the movie around him is not great.
Yeah, exactly. Like
he's enough.
He's delightful.
Like, yeah.
And everything.
So I think I don't know. It'll probably do fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, like we said, you can have a three equalizer, or we can
just move on. Yeah, we can just have. Denzel
I definitely want to see.
Else.
Yeah, this director do more. What else has he done? He did Magnificent Seven, which I liked, but no one saw. What?
Training Day.
Oh, okay, yeah. Has he done anything else recently, or
the first Equalizer?
Yeah. So this is just.
Did he do? Was that King Arthur movie him?
I don't know. If it is, I have to give it a shot. The Magnificent Seven, I feel like that might have put him back a little bit career-wise, but I thought that movie was very good. I think the studios expected something different than what they got. Or they must have been watching it, but like that was definitely a movie that was advertised to be a very different film than it was.
Yeah, it was advertised as more of like, I haven't watched it.
Yeah.
But it was sort of sold as kind of like a
family or like an
Avengers kind of movie.
Yeah, I think Chris Pratt kind of muddled it where they were like, oh shit, like, because I that felt like it was right when Chris Pratt was blowing up. So
yeah,
they were
it was.
Like,
yeah,
what do we do with the fact that we now have Chris Pratt in this? And they were trying to like make it look funnier, but like it's pretty dark. I don't want to spoil anything, but like it's a Western. Like it's bloody and there's a lot of death and.
Well, if you've seen the original Magnificent Seven, you know that.
Yeah,
I think almost all of them die except for like two.
Yeah, okay, so I guess spoilers, that's same deal with
like
this one.
Most of them die.
Yeah.
Man, Equalizer. Get out there and get equalized.
Yeah, gotta get equalized.
Yeah, man. It's fine, you know?
Yeah, I know, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Fucking Equalizer.
Yeah, just watch it, man. It's an action thriller for grown-ups.
Yeah,
I don't know
pretty much.
What else do you want?
It's got a fucking harpoon death.
Yeah.
What more do you want?
Shoots a bearded man through the face.
Yeah. It's a movie with
a massive harpoon.
It's a movie with a harpoon murder and a World War II painting subplot.
Yeah.
It is fucking out there.
It really is. There's so much, and then there's a hurricane.
And then there's a fucking
that they build up for the entire film.
Jesus fucking Christ.
This movie.
Oh. Equalizer.
It's just so equalizing.
Mm-hmm.